我这你都快点，快点，快点，不行你吃现在不要快点呀。
我跟你妈离婚时候你多大？
我也记不得。
记不得了。
应该很小。
那回我回去，在谁家里，你跟我见面，是哪一次？是我已经离婚了，你还记得吗？
我记得你来学校看我，从家里人没有。
学校你就大懂事了，那时候你还不懂事，还小。我跟你妈刚离婚不久，没几天。
那我肯定记不住。
你也记不住了。就是在家里那次，好像是给你画吧，是吧？给你画那次印象深点。
不是茶叶水，不是有茶叶水带起来了。
蹦哒啦哒，蹦哒蹦哒，蹦哒啦哒，蹦哒蹦哒，嘿嘿嘿嘿，嘿嘿嘿嘿呀嘿，这个啷个咚，马车铃儿叮当响，这儿一个咚，这儿一个咚。还要听什么？音乐唱要听。噔噔噔噔噔噔。噔噔滴滴嘞噔啊噔滴噔噔滴噔噔滴滴滴嘞噔滴噔噔滴噔噔滴呀滴呀滴呀滴呀哒哩哩哩嘞噔哒啦噔噔，槐树开花百花花呀嘿第二个噔，几经愁水三浪花呀噔噔叮噔哒啦啦噔，同志你慢点走啊，这是一个。那两个三个小伙子一块走的时候，边跳边走，然后后面这个就在喊同志你慢点走，这两个刚刚跨步，别走。
我这好几年，药都吃了，你倒不当事儿。
他吃那
抹那药，喷那药，哎呀，还有吃的药，都吃了不当事儿。
吃，我觉得哎，我这个脑子吃啥啥，学做啥的那吃，我说他也不记住这个。
开头确实有点一话宣布我的罪状的时候，确实那时候很受不了，啊，那时候觉得还革命轰轰烈烈的参加这么多年，好容易是吧？有一个正儿八经的工作，结果呢又弄成这样，这很失智。这个躺在公共汽车底下，公共汽车开过来，我站着等公共汽车，啪一下躺下去，就让他压我。结果呢过去了，咱压过去了，就压不死你。结果
你要没进去看？
那个开门那个没有吧？
没有。
把书包背放下来，书包。
地上的花瓣，地上的花瓣，它那托起了祝愿，美好的祝愿。如果母亲送来春天温暖，我家的妹妹快乐的等一年喽，我家的妹妹跳起飞旋的吉他。雪域的甘甜，雪域的甘甜，幸福挂满咱家的草原。
Thank you all guys for being here at this time towards the end of today's event. Thank you so much. I'm okay. I'm Yingying Wang, the author of this project where my heart settles down. I moved to America in March this year, so today marks my 5th month here. This is my first time speech with English, so it's a big challenge to me. I hope I can do it well. And to begin my family story, I would like to give the background to a historical event in China, which is the Cultural Revolution. In the 1960s, a 10-year political struggle unfolded in China. Prior to that, targeting at intellectuals already began in the late 1950s. When people denounced and fought against each other, my father, who was a painter, was persecuted during that period. He was sent from a southern coastal city in China to a poor village called Guantao, located in Hebei, which is an inland province of northern China. He was imprisoned there and later released as a local teacher. Later, he met my mother through another people and got married. I was then born in Guantao, Hebei, which has nothing to do with where my family members grew up, now where I was later brought up. When I was born, the Cultural Revolution had already ended. In the following years, my father was resorted to his previous political status. As a cadre, he was assigned to be the editor-in-chief of an art magazine in Beijing. My mother, on the other hand, moved back to her hometown, Hangzhou, a city in southern China. Therefore, my early life began with traveling between the two places on the Green Train. Even later, in my teenage year, I often went to the railway to simply watch the long green train appear in front of me and disappear from my sight, which was a way of mobility when my family was still together as a whole, deeply engraved in my mind. When I was about 6 years old, my parents got divorced due to a long separation. I ended up living with my mother and an older brother in Hangzhou, and I never returned to my birthplace, Guantao, Hebei. With hatred towards my father, my mother prohibited me from having any contact with him. I often wondered what kind of person my father was and how he felt about me. I also wondered what our family was like when we were still together. The only part of my memory about family was Guantao, my birthplace, where I was full of curiosity about but hesitant to visit due to the complicated emotion in me. When I was young, I communicated with my father through letters. My letter mainly, mainly reflected my mother's intentions and did not have much of my own thoughts. In this book, the 10 letter he wrote to me, um, uh, a 10 letter he wrote to me, and almost every letter asked me same question when I would come visit him. However, my mother would never allow it. I didn't visit him until I grew up and started working and earning. That way, I could afford to pay the fare to visit my father. I needed to see him with my own eyes, and I understand what kind of person he really was, and feel more to understand what kind of person I am and who I truly am. And this is my handmade book, which is also the prototype of this publication. And this, yes, this is the publication. I hand sew the book cover using an antique fabric. This cover photo captures rare moments of the three of us, my parents and me, at Tiananmen Square in Beijing. The handmade book separates of a family in this way, and the publisher adopted the idea and mm, researched on the craftsmanship, which was quite challenging. The final product with the tear up format evokes an emotional transformation for everyone who opened this book. Here, I would like to thank Jiazazhi. They did an exceptional job in capturing the handmade essence of my book. This is particularly challenging for mass production. Additionally, their final design successfully transformed the handmade book to a publication. This is more suitable for reading. And this one. Mhm. And this is what my parents look like now. Their faces did not appear in the entire book. And I believe that their physical appearance is not the focus of this project. And this is a digitally painted college photo. The negative of an old photo was overlaid on top of a black and white photo that I took when I visited my birthplace. I accidentally mixed the four rows of black and white film with color films. The photo happened to be taken with the wrong roll, and I added digital painting on top of it. This was the first village I met when I went back that year. The cotton crop did well, but it was unsellable. I told this villager that I was born here, and he was very surprised. He picked a cotton and gave it to me. It made me feel like my birthplace was embracing my return. This was my nanny, Gao Jingfeng. The first time I went back to Guantao, the cottage where I was born was still there but dilapidated. It was quite amazing that by the second time I visited, the cottage had turned into a kindergarten, and the third time it had become a nursing house. Hence, I have every reason to believe that it is waiting for me to go back and see it one last time. When I stood in front of the cottage, I heard a crying behind me. A woman was led to meet me, saying she was my nanny. My mother once told me that she couldn't breastfeed me when I was born, so she had to find someone to feed me. I never expected that after near 40 years, I would see her again. At that moment, we held each other tight and cried. Later that day, she showed me some places in Guantao that were related to my family and shared a lot of her memories of my parents. She even brought me back to her home and made the dumplings for me. These were sent from her house. Wherever I went, I encountered fellow villagers who sparked a warm feeling. They were sincerely honest and friendly, and made me feel relaxed and rested, without any signs of unfamiliarity, as if I had always been there. This the children in Guantao. The middle of black and white picture is me. This was type of local wheat cake. The vendor set up a sand brick tent by the roadside and baked and sold the cakes inside. The cake very cheap, costing about a quarter each. And the cake was soft and fluffy, and they tasted delicious. One of Nanny's relatives held a memorial ceremony at home for the third anniversary of the death of an eater. All the younger generation of the family gathered in the com- commemor- commemoration of the deceased eater. Thank you. These were the sense of the town, the buildings and the frozen river water. This tree was called the Tree of Longing, which symbolized a mother's yearning for her child. This was Shelby Pavilion in an old cotton seed oil factory. It was taken on my first and final visit to my hometown. Every time I went back, I hoped it would be the last time, which may be because of the complicated emotions associated with it. However, after a while, I always felt the urge to go back and continue searching for some traces. On my first visit, one of my father's former students took me to an old cottonseed or oil factory that was built in the 1960s during the Cultural Revolution. It was used to extract cottonseed oil during that time. When the Cultural Revolution ended, They stopped extracting cottonseed oil, but the factory was kept and became old and ruined year after year. After entered this factory, I stood in front of the pavilion and heard bursting sounds like in frost sounds mixed with noises of explosion. The sound seems to come from outer space. I followed the sound but couldn't find its sources. I recorded it and played it at the end of the 11-minute experimental short film that was played earlier. At that particular moment, I recorded a sense from a film by Chinese director Jiazazhi. A disillusioned woman arrives in unfamiliar small town, and as she gets off the train, she sees a UFO in the sky. At that very moment, I suddenly understood the significance of the move's signs right here, right now. I also wish for UFO to appear in the sky and tell me that the things in the real world are not important and may not even exist. Consequently, it was in that same moment when I made the decision not to return to Guantao again. I suppose I don't need the searching anymore. It's time to end the trouble caused by this family history along with this project. When working on this project, I visit my father more frequently and engaging in conversations with him and getting to know him better. At the same time, I also documented my mother by by observing the similarities of the old age daily lives of two intellectuals who used to live together closely but no longer kept in touch after separating. I gained detached understanding of my parents' separation. My father's cap. This is my father and his certificate of rehabilitation. When I was invited to exhibition my work upon completing this project, I discovered a portrait of my mother painted by my father, telling from the time of the painting I was still in my mother's womb. This painting also serves a proof to me that they once shared a beautiful connection. My mother's desk, she is a Christian. My father's desk, he later started a new family. And my father's hand and my mother and my brother's hand. The last photo was landscape of my birthplace, captured with a misloaded black and white film by accident. In the winter in Guantao, there was heavy smoke. However, for me, it was magical and heartwarming. That's why I decided to create a digital painting of it. The final photo was my father walking towards me. Through this project, I discovered the bond between my father and me. I understood his genius, generosity and easygoing nature, which is just like my personality. This black and this black and white photo with the word "Dad" and "Little Yingying" right on it was the only picture of us together. The nickname Little Yingying is significant to me and the proof of um, paternal love. Last but least, I would like to stress that this project a personal journey of my self-discovery, and I am grateful to myself to making an in in order to do it. I would also like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the magazine for investing a significant amount of time in designing and producing the book. As an artist, a book would be the perfect final of my work. Thank you all for your attentive presence. Thank you.